Victoria Park, the last Sunday of the AFLW home and away season for 2025 commences at a hot and windy Victoria Park. Brisbane and Collingwood, it's the Lions by 7 points at quarter time. Big news in the closing stages last night for Melbourne's finals chances. This incident involving their captain, Kate Hoare. She completed a concussion test post-game, given this incident happened in the final couple of minutes at GMHBA Stadium. News came out within half an hour of the finish of the match last night that Kate Hoare had been cleared of any lingering concussion symptoms. So the expectation is that she will be clear, Abby, to contest Melbourne's qualifying final next week, which is likely to probably be against the Brisbane Lions.
Yeah, that's great news for the D's and, of course, for Kate Hoare. Such a crucial player for the Melbourne Footy Club heading into a final series, so it's great to know that she'll be out there. Craig
Starcevich has broken from the Brisbane huddle. He's equal parts Pie and Brisbane today. 124 games as a player for Collingwood, 20 as a player for the Brisbane Bears, and his 104th match today as the Brisbane Lions coach. So he's equal parts Collingwood and Brisbane in his storied career as a player and coach. Man, in his second season in charge of the Pies is Sam Wright. He's downstairs with Kate.
Well, Sam, obviously a blow to lose pre-game. The girls look like they handled that well, though. How have you seen it? What was the message from the huddle?
Yeah, very disappointing to lose Britt. Girls started really well, so good in the contest, trying to stop their uncontested game that they've started to develop off half back, so that's worked well so far.
It's obviously important to finish on a high, the final game of the season. The girls know that, but what was the message? Yeah, how important is it to finish on a high?
Yeah, really important, like for progression, for confidence next year, but also for individuals celebrating Sarah Rowe's 75th, so important to get that done.
Thanks, Sam. Good luck.
The individual component of that celebration starting in fine style with a rollicking opening term from Sarah Rowe. Hickey off the line, hotter, scooped up by Kathy Spark to Hickey. Anderson immediately into Patterson pressure. Got out to Hickey. Conway recovered from that early incident. Eyes with numbers again. Davidson trying to trap it with her feet. Eventually it's by hand. Scooping it up on the right. Got a good piece of it. Misses everything.
Sam Wright has told us that their aim of the game today is take away the Brisbane Lions' uncontested game, and they did that really well early in this game through that relentless tackle pressure. They took away Brisbane's marks. They went genuine one-on-one, but as the quarter went on, the Lions were able to settle in, and we know how much they pride themselves on their work rate and their fitness. So the question will be around if Collingwood can go with them for 4 quarters.
Marks 18-9 Pie so far as Taylor is raked down from behind by Beldors. 8th touch, an effective one for Anderson. 105th this afternoon. Football over the head of Smith, brought down by Allen to Butler. It was a casual kick. It was a fist in from Williamson that buys 30 metres, and then the opportunity for Slisher, who eventually was clean but missed the hand pass for Morris Dalton. And therein lies a lot of the growth for Collingwood into 2026.
Yeah, definitely. Just little skill errors, basic fundamentals for the Pies. But one thing I really liked from them early was their attack. They were utilising the handball, they were changing angles, and that's what you need to do against this Brisbane defence to really shift them. So hopefully they can continue with what was working early. 1
win last year, got up to 3 so far this season. The third coming last Sunday with a win over the Suns.
They've certainly made inroads, Nige. I mean, unveiling a #1 pick in Ash Central. We've seen the Ash Centra effect across both the W and men's competitions. Sam Mitchell trying to do the bounce in the middle of the G.
And everybody else.
And everybody else. They didn't have access, of course, to Bree Davies, so they'll continue to climb.
High hopes with Breed, who was an acquisition from the Hawks as well.
Yep.
In the off-season, so I'll be hopeful of attacking the draft and getting a healthier list going into 2026, but also the value of the games that Cronin, Patterson, and Georgia Knight, playing her 5th this afternoon, have been able to get throughout the season and the campaign. Double fist from Hickey. Unattended was Mullins. Butler closed down the space. There is Patterson who can shuffle it to the line. 42 in last year's draft. That's Stephen playing 96 matches for the Pies in the late 90s and 2000. Her 11th match this afternoon, the 19-year-old from Clifton. Mercedes College in Glenelg in Adelaide. Hickey with the first fist instead of Barnett. Anderson towing the line, just ran out of enough turf in the end. What another high bar Ali Anderson has set in 2025. Top 6 for possessions, averaging 25 a game alongside 5 tackles and 4.5 clearances.
Superstar. And the Lions are 7-1 in clearances already. She's already had a couple of them as well. So a key clog in that midfield group.
Barnett the tap. He had the better recovery to lay the tackle. Ball's taken out of it by Williamson. Hyde's kick taken by Postlethwaite. Brisbane are going reverse. Ryder working the triangle. Campbell. Get it back from Ellinger and can launch. It's high. It's breezy. It won't matter. It was always going to be Taylor Smith.
What a mark by Taylor Smith, and what a play by Shannon Campbell in game 100. Held the width. She was the anchor in defence. Great mark, good vision. Changed the angles, but gave and go. Offered another option, and a great kick into the leading lane of Taylor Smith, and that is a wonderful lead and jump.
Breeze will take this left to right. Touch on the line from Cronin, not quite. Smith with her first. And that's now potentially 2 goals and effectively the margin in the game that come from Ruby Spark being left to her own devices with a crumb at the top of the goal square, and now a missed opportunity to touch a ball where they had 2 players on the goal line but not far back enough to time their run of the footy. Little things bringing Collingwood undone.
Well, this is play of the day so far for the Brisbane Lions. A wonderful kick inside 50 by Shannon Campbell in game 100, and a great set shot from Taylor Smith, who just led beautifully into the space. The kick told her where to go. And the Pies defenders, they had a couple on the line but needed a run and jump defensively to try and spoil that one through.
So margin to a game high, 13 points in favour of Brisbane, who are looking to open things up. Dawes from the arc, Smith again. Held. Butler was just a little bit late, and the separation was what created the free.
Brisbane are getting the game on their terms now. 11-1 uncontested possessions early in the second. So for something that they were able to shut down, the Collingwood Footy Club, early in this game, Lions are getting back on top.
Butler stretching, made every attempt, but it was in vain. Taylor Smith has kicked 3 times this year. Can't do it in the space of 60 seconds.
Where if you see him right, just looking for those genuine 1v1 contests around the ground. We understand the fitness levels and the work rate that the Brisbane Lions do pride themselves on, but they need to be able to run with them.
Taylor, Howarth with the fist rather than the mark, and landed awkwardly as well. Feeling at the heel of her right boot. Leading goal kicker for the Pies this season. Centra not seeing action in the last month of the season. 7-11 for the ex-Sun this year for the Pies, and hoping to add to that in the next 2.5 quarters. Barnett takes the front spot on Hickey. Bounced off the chest of Williamson. Anderson dabbed it out. Potter to Hickey, who becomes an extra mid. And Hampson gets a test on the right clavicle. You can see the tape on just poking out of the front of her right shoulder on her jumper. The tackle from Geordie Allen just got high initially, ever so slightly. Hampson to launch. Breeze doesn't work that one back, unfortunately.
Brisbane owning territory early in the second, 6 inside 50s. The Pies yet to have it in their forward half, so they need to be really methodical in the way that they approach this. The handball, the changing the angles, that was working for them early, not just kicking long and hoping.
1-2 to nothing in the quarter so far. Hickey, Anderson clean at ground level again, but impeded by Taylor. Pushed off Conway, got it to Hyde, whose kick was smothered. Brisbane have numbers lurking in the right shape around this contest. Conway's efforts to try and get it out, draw a free kick in the end. Matt Adams, Saren van der Schoot and Jason Armstrong, our umpires this afternoon, and there's, again, ever so slight high one from Patterson. Conway runs a 45, pushes it to the square. Williamson nose to nose with Hampson, throws a hand at it. Can look out from behind. White seen off. Dooley, the latest Brisbane player to spray one. See the intensity of the breeze told in both the players' jumpers, but those red and white flags on the outside of the ground, they have been blustering as aggressively as they have throughout the day in the last 2 or so minutes. Cronin, there's a push, clear as day by Mullins.
This is better. They haven't been able to exit their D50 early in the second, but just working their way through it there.
And misses the mark. Mullins misses the hand pass. Butler flicked it off to Rowe, outside of the right. Not much presenting. Here comes Clark. Campbell works well with Postlethwaite. Just knew that Mullins would be there. Shares it out to Peters. Kick wide for Hodder. Cronin did well to take it, but won't get free of the ever-present tackling that is Courtney Hodder. A second effort. Butler. Cronin against the line. Campbell, the fist, as good as a hand pass. Navigated it to Mullins. It's for Smith v Allen. Butler around Dooley. That's no mean feat. That's even better to find Williamson at half-back. There's Runnels channeling through and motioning for it. Was able to find her via a kick in the end. Runnels will switch. Applause in the commentary box from 1A Holmes. Patterson. Can. Kick went negative. O'Dwyer will look to take advantage. Trying to find the landing zone is Davidson on the sprint. Won't want to take possession, but take ground. And that she does. Cronin on clean-up duty. Around Dooley again. Allen drew Hodder to release White, whose kick will be wide, but marked by Patterson, who's had the running shoes on in turn 2. As has Runnels. Frederick, Collingwood's sole goal kicker, gave it up to Mullins. And Collingwood's tackling is on the second floor when they need to be in the basement.
Yes, unfortunately just a little bit undisciplined for the Pies. It's the third or fourth free kick given away.
Well, hang on. Williamson does earn the free. To the 50. Clash of bodies in the air. Slicer and Campbell are there for Collingwood. Holding it in was Postlethwaite. Gets rewarded under the rules of engagement. Postlethwaite to O'Dwyer. Celebration of sorts. Terrific picture in the papers this morning of the now 2 Irish players with 75 AFLW games, Maura O'Dwyer and Sarah Rowe. Hyde, marked by Porter or not? Ball was touched. Porter for goal last week in the win over the Suns. Frederick wrestling and then a hammer fist to Can. Hartwell taking her turn in the ruck. Bullocking through was Williamson and Can. Ballinger cut things off at the pass. A clearing kick from Davison. He's trampolined by the Pies. Roll bounce against O'Dwyer. Yeah. Launching was done. Postlethwaite pushes the handball out. Done against Georgia Clark. Brisbane have numbers, but a bit of confusion initially between Dunn and Davison, who kicked it 3 feet to O'Dwyer. Towards Smith. Dooley would like to find this into clear air. Frederick will be first back. Went to ground. Ruby Spark. Finds Hartle all on her lonesome. Has Ruby Spark as the hand pass option, and Dakota Davidson running to goal. And you bet, once again, the footy pokes its tongue out at Dakota Davidson.
The idea was right, just get it out to grass in front of Dakota Davidson and allow her to run onto the ball, but you touched on it, Hyde, once again, didn't get the friendliest of bounces.
Brisbane are leaving some opportunities on the table. 1-4 for the quarter. Willie Rose Williamson, the former Bomber, is having a good second quarter. Space created with a Porter lead for Slisher, who's got some of the best hands in the business. There's a 50. May have been a play getting to the protected zone, to the outside of where Ruby Slisher and Beldors were. Beldors as being the one credited with the 50, so may have crept the mark. Collingwood captain misses Howarth. Ryder got the fist in. Porter stayed standing to Runnels, who gives it back to the visitors, and Davison calls for calm.
It's just that last kick or two inside their forward half. They're showing great composure, the Pies, coming out of their defensive 50. They've been able to get some genuine kick marks through the centre of the ground, but it's just that final piece as they look inside.
2-on-2 down the line was the look that Conway had, and Cronin and Davidson see it out. Lucy Cronin claiming for free of sorts. So 3 minutes to play until half-time. And it was a simple brief for Brisbane coming to Victoria Park today. Win, you vault above Hawthorn, and then face Melbourne in the qualifying final next weekend. And in all likelihood, North and Hawthorn reconvene in a qualifying final after the Roos were comfortable winners on Friday night at Frankston's Kinetic Stadium. Here's the free from Can on her opposing 25 in Kathy Spark. She's got an option on the 45 in Hickey and heads there now, but it wasn't the necessary distance. Allen just sweeps through. Floating ball. Carlson did well to protect all and sundry. Allen, Frederick, Canvey, Kathy Spark, the sequel. Howarth knew the handball was wrong as soon as she tried to dish it out. Anderson, Conway, out of the phone booth, outstretched arm. Kathy Spark rolled it to Anderson. Kick for Grider. It was toe before hand. It's dragged in. Grider's quick to escape the scene of the crime and not give away a free, and instead earns one. Kayla Cairns confused on the mark as to why. It's an excellent kick in the circumstances by Grider to find Conway, who's off and running. Smith, O'Dwyer, down goes Frederick, over the top went Davidson. It's a Collingwood free. Sabrina Fredericks gone to ground a couple of occasions. I imagine that's preferred technically as the Collingwood coaching staff that she could keep her feet in those situations to keep his back in Brisbane hands. Conway hits up Davidson.
There we go. How good was that from Sophie Conway? We saw just moments ago a long, deep launch from Conway inside 50. Had another opportunity here with a wayward kick from Fredrickson, but just lowered the eyes on that occasion, and it was a brilliant lead and a great chest mark to Dakota Davidson.
2 behinds doesn't tell the entire tale of Dakota Davidson's first half so far. But one thing's for sure, as she has through her entire career, she has continued to turn up, present, and be a presence. Just let back on the kick. That's a 5th behind to go with Taylor Smith's goal at the 4-minute mark in the second for Brisbane.
You just saw Dakota Davidson do the grass test as well. That breeze out there is wreaking havoc. So 3 behinds so far for her this afternoon. Might get another look here.
Sophie Conway might as well set up the picnic rug in that part of Victoria Park. But again, apologies from the kick.
And this was an area of Brisbane's game early last week against the D's that really let them down. They had the 4 behinds to quarter time. Whereas here, 23 seconds to go in the first half, 3 goals, 9 Nige. So this lead could be significantly more if they took their opportunities at goal.
Can find a way to breach the perimeter of 20 metres out from goal rather than where they've been living 20 to 40 through most of the quarter. Taylor's clearing ball with the seconds evaporating. Dwyer goes to ground. Rowe went past her. Hodder must find a target. Can Brisbane get a play on the ball late? They won't. Collingwood's defence did a pretty good job in the circumstances in term 2. Brisbane, though, probably their own worst enemies. 11 inside 50s to 4. But those 11 entries produced 7 scores, but 1 goal 6. Margin sits at 19 at half-time. It was 7 at quarter-time. Hartle, Ruby Spark and Smith, the goal kickers for Brisbane. Sabrina Frederick kicked Collingwood's sole goal 2.25 minutes into the match. But in hot, windy conditions at Victoria Park, so far, so good for Brisbane. And even the fact that Sophie Conway and Ruby Spark emerged from those early concerns to play pivotal roles in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. You want your superstars on the park, and Sophie Conway, coming off one of the best games of her career last week, has started this one really well as well.
Kate Massey has Jade Ellinger.
Yeah, 3 goals 9. It was a tough quarter, better quarter, but that breeze looks like it's proving a bit challenging.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's blowing, that's for sure. But no, it was a better quarter for us, but we've got to watch that win in the third.
A lot to celebrate this week, obviously. A few milestones in this team. You're finals bound. You could push for that third spot on the ladder with a win here. How important is that?
I think it'd be really good to get a win for our milestone girls today. I know we've had a lot this season, so yeah, to celebrate them and then see how high we can finish would be great.
Good luck for the rest of the game.
Thanks, guys.
Half-time at Victoria Park. Brisbane 3-9-27 in pursuit of third spot on the AFLW ladder as they enter yet another final series. Collingwood 1-2-8 have a half to play in their season in terrific conditions at Victoria Park.
All right, folks, there we go. It is half-time here at Victoria Park. Brisbane Lions doing it well. 3-9-27 leading the Magpies. 1 goal, 2-8. I tell you what, she's a swirly breeze out there. It's hot conditions. 29 degrees out there at Victoria Park. You know what, the girls are finding it difficult out there in the heat this afternoon at Victoria Park. Hey, just welcome in, of course. Annie's in the house. How you doing, Annie? Carly, Addie G, Joseph. Lions winning score 40-49. Well, I think the Lions might win by a little bit more than that, but we'll just have to wait and see. Brisbane are a pretty good side, and of course, it is round 12. Of course, that is the final game of the home and away season. We'll have a look at the stats in just a moment. Just give you a little bit of a look at the live ladder here. Of course, with Brisbane, that'll go on and win this game. Brisbane will jump up into third position. Wowee, there we go. Nice. Brisbane up into third position. And it looks like they could be playing Melbourne in the first week of the finals. You certainly wouldn't want to be playing the Kangaroos, who have gone undefeated through the season. And of course, for the Magpies down there, sitting in 15th position, I'll tell you what, they struggle, the Magpies, over the past few seasons and this season. They've only won 3 games so far this season. And of course, if they go on to lose this, that's all they'll be winning. 3 wins, 9 losses. But for the Brisbane Lions, 9 wins, 3 losses, 165 their percentage. Really good percentage there, up there with the best in the competition. Of course, Brisbane have been one of the good sides in the competition over the past few years, along with the Kangaroos and Adelaide. So we are looking for a big finish, I would assume, from the Brisbane Lions. They'll go in and do their dominance. Just to round up who else have won this weekend, round 12, of course. North Melbourne had an emphatic win over Hawthorn, 67-18. Carlton defeating West Coast Eagles, 42-22. Port Adelaide, big win over the GWS Giants, 81-24. The Gold Coast Suns getting the job done over the Richmond Tigers, 39-25. Tell you what, there's a low-scoring game. Essendon defeating Sydney, 14-11. That was a low-scoring game, wasn't it? And of course, the other game, Melbourne, who's sitting second on the ladder, 59 defeated Geelong, 45. Of course, we've got this game on. 2 more games after this one to round out round 12 of the AFLW season. Of course, that's St Kilda taking on the Western Bulldogs and Adelaide taking on Fremantle. We should be covering that Adelaide-Fremantle game a little bit later on. scoring 40-49. There we go. The score is 27-8 there at half-time at Victoria Park. The Lions just seem to be doing it really well. The Pies struggling to get out of their defensive 50 all the way through that second quarter. They get down there, and of course, when the Magpies finally do get into their forward 50, they do struggle to get that last kick in, finding a target, whereas Brisbane Lions seem to be doing it well. That transition down back to their forwards well. Dakota's playing well, and they just look so much more dangerous. Do the Brisbane Lions all the way around the ground. Let's just have a couple of look at the player stats here as we speak up until half-time. And of course, the goal scorers so far, Ruby Svark, Taylor Smith, Eleanor Hartle, the single goal scorers there for the Brisbane Lions. And of course, Sabrina Frederick is the only goal scorer there for the Magpies out there today. Looking at the disposal getters, the Magnets out there, of course, 2 players leading the way, 1 from each team. And of course, Sarah Rowe from Collingwood tops the table with 14 disposals up until half-time. 11 kicks, 3 handballs, 3 marks, 3 tackles. And Alexandra Anderson from the Brisbane Lions also on 14 with 9 kicks, 5 handballs, a mark, 3 clearances. Mullins and Conway next best on 13 there for the Brisbane Lions as we roll on down. Lucille Cronin on 12 there for the Maggies. O'Dwyer and Hickle on 11 for the Lions. Also, we've got Michaela Can on 11 there for the Magpies. Lily Rose Williamson on 10 for the Maggies. And of course, they're the only players up until half-time in double figures at the moment. All right, let's just roll on down. Actually, we'll come back to the stats in just a moment. We'll just head back down to the commentators for a little bit of a wrap-up on the opening half here.
Going here at a big part by Sabrina Frederick, but that was pretty much where it ended for the Pies. They were really good early defensively, went genuine one-on-one to try and take away the uncontested game that the Brisbane Lions own and dominate, but the Lions, a very good side, very accustomed to working their way through it, and they certainly got on top in the second.
This would mark 7 wins in a row for Brisbane. They've had a dominant performance last week, we've been talking about against the D's, but against the Pies who came out strong, but now Brisbane obviously can finish third on the ladder. It would be a dominant finish for them.
Yeah, absolutely, and it would open up a qualifying final against the D's next weekend. But it was a dicey start for the Brisbane Lions in 2025. They started 2-3, but to be looking down the barrel now of potentially their 7th straight win, it's a very important, milestone for them heading into a finals campaign. So we know how good they are and that they've competed in final series for a very long period of time now. So this would be nice for them to get a quality win in the lead into some finals footy.
Now, speaking of final series, we know St Kilda, they can play their first version of finals footy this year with a win over the Dogs.
It's exciting, isn't it, for St Kilda fans out there, and this is massive for the Saints. So first time that they will feature in finals after this match here this afternoon. Jessie Wardlaw, a crucial piece of that puzzle, but in saying that, Ellie Blackburn, the Dogs will be out there to spoil a party there this afternoon.
All right, we will hear from Craig Starcevich on the other side of the break. Thank you, Abby. It is halftime here at Victoria.
All right, we'll get back when they return with Craig Starcevich, the coach of Brisbane, right after their break. All right, let's just pop back in, folks. Let's just pop back over and have a look at the stats. Continue on with that for the up until half-time. Ruby Svark on 7 there for the Brisbane Lions. Catherine Svark on 6. Taylor Smith on 6. Also, Courtney Holder and Dakota Davidson. There we go. She's had a few shots on goal, Dakota Davidson, the forward there for the Brisbane Lions. Of course, she's had the 6 disposals, 5 kicks, handball, a couple of marks. She's a little bit wayward there with the breeze, taking the ball not quite through the goal. She's kicked 3 behinds there for the Brisbane Lions. But she'll be looking to straighten that up, certainly in the third quarter. She's looking like she's on song today, is Dakota Davidson. There we go. There are your player stats. Who else we got there? Howarth and Porter, just the 3 touches there for the Magpies up until half-time. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the team stats. And as we have a look over here, the Brisbane Lions doing it well. They're 21-plus disposals ahead in this game. 13 kicks, 8 handballs, inside 50s, as you can see. the dominance of the Brisbane Lions up until half time. 23 inside 50, so they're doing the job really well, going above season average of their 40. 3 goals, 9, 12 scoring shots for their 23 inside 50, so very dangerous going inside 50. And of course, the Magpies, they've had 3 scoring shots for just 11 inside 50, so the Brisbane Lions holding up well. Defence holding up well, not allowing the Magpies to get down there and drift into their forward 50. Disposal efficiency, surprisingly enough though, the Magpies on top in disposal efficiency, 65%. They'll be pretty happy with that, going above season average. Brisbane a little bit under their efficiency inside 50 though. Brisbane really well, 60%. Free kicks, well, the umpires aren't favouring the home team today, are they? Have a look at that. 13 free kicks to 4, +9 Brisbane Lions. A couple of touch free kicks. I didn't really agree with the umpires in that aspect in some of those, but that's the way some of them see it. The umpires do see it a little bit different, as us good folk do. But there we go, 13 to 4. They'll probably, no doubt, end up squaring that ledger up come the end of the game. The hit-outs, the Brisbane Lions getting the job done, 7 to 6, they're +1, but a lot of the damage has been done, folks, around the clearances. 11 to 2, absolute shellacking there, the Brisbane Lions, +9. Centre clearances, the Magpies just can't get one. Brisbane Lions, they got every centre clearance, 6-0. Wow, you don't often see that, folks, in a game of football where one team get 0 centre clearances up until half-time, 6-0. Lions midfield doing the job there. Stoppage clearances, Lions ahead, also 5 to 2 around the ground in the stoppage clearances. Just look at the contested possessions, the Lions, well, the Magpies not too bad, pretty much season average as the Brisbane Lions. They're +16 there, uncontested though, both teams all tied up at 66 apiece. Turnovers, well, this is a reasonably high turnover game from both sides, 35-32. The marking game, there we go. The Magpies have actually got one up there. They're +4 in the marking contest in the mark, so that's very, very good. As I said, going inside forward 50. The Brisbane Lions look dangerous. They're hitting their lead-up targets there. As you can see, the inside 50 marks, 5 to Brisbane, just a single one to the Magpies. Contested marks, 2 to 1 to Magpies. Not a great deal of contested ball in the marking department there. Good to see. Magpies on top on the tackle count, 23-20. It's a low tackle count for today. Certainly they want to lift that up, but the tackle count inside their forward 50. Brisbane Lions doing the job well, 5-0 to the Magpies. As I was saying, a couple of the teams that are going to make the finals this year, which is great to see. Of course, St Kilda getting into the finals this year. West Coast Eagles are actually 300 to 1 to win the premiership this season. Can you believe it? How'd you be if you had a couple of dollars on the West Coast at 300 to 1 for any team inside the top 8 to win the flag? But yeah, the hot raging favourites. Of course, the Kangaroos, they were $1.35 to win the flag. They're going to be mighty hard to beat, but that is it at quarter time. Of course, the Brisbane Lions putting on 1 goal 6, a little bit wayward in that second term, but they did look good. Of course, the Magpies were held scoreless in that second term. There we go. It's going to be an interesting second half, folks. It's going to be an interesting second half. Can the Magpies actually put a few scores on the board? We'll just have to wait and see. It looks like they got a slight breeze in this third quarter, but the wind is swirly. All right, let's head back down to the commentators. We'll head back down to Stas. No, he is gone from the interview, so we'll head back down to the ground. We'll head down to the bounce of the ball for the opening bounce of the third quarter. That's the Brisbane Lions by 19 points. Go Pies.
It's their 12th meeting this afternoon, just the second game they've played here at Victoria Park across the tenure. A lot of the games have been played in southern Queensland, admittedly, but Brisbane won a game by 6 points, round 7, 2019. So 6.5 years since they've played a match here at Victoria Park. The head-to-head this afternoon coming in was 8-3 to the Lions. And they're half away from making that 9-3, and in the process grabbing a 9-3 record as they head to yet another AFLW final series. 12 scoring shots to 3. Sabrina Frederick starting in the ruck for the Pies, who tried to take out the jump of Hickey. Got the knock to Kathy Spark. Slice up. Can. Pressure kick. From Postlethwaite, who did a 360 to it. Campbell rushes away from the pursuance. Morris Dalton, 3 last week against the Suns. Put it inboard. And Hickey, like a good ruck should, folding back into defence.
Really great work by Hickey just to get back and support the defenders there. It was a kick and hope by Morris Dalton, just kicking it up, hoping that a teammate would get there, but Hickey was there first.
Talia Hickey, one of 5 Brisbane players in double figures for possessions to date. Does average 12 a game and 17 and a half hit-outs. Smith in the ruck on this occasion. Anderson lost the handle. Runnels missed Williamson. Kathy Spark taken away by Howarth. Torpedoed one towards Porter, who copped a backhander. Howarth, second opportunity. Hickey again. Impossible. Cute the switch. Back and wide in the pocket for Dunn. Carlson loaded up on the fist. It was into the chin of Slasher. Williamson slipping her grasp was Dawes. Punted it out to Taylor Smith, who looks ahead. Doesn't see much. It's Davidson v Butler inside 50. Davidson, terrific lead. Great forward craft. Feigned like she was running back to goal. The classic tip lead to make the space. Now Dakota Davidson in game 75 will chase to her first goal for about the 6th time.
It's a great composure there from Smith, wasn't it? That tick lead from Davidson was always going to come, but she took grass, she had a bounce, eyes on the prize at all times, and perfectly timed onto the chest of Davidson.
3 first half behinds. It's been all the flavours so far, except the most important one. 4 behinds now for Davidson. Admittedly, a tricky day to be kicking a goal with this hustling northerly blowing across Victoria Park.
But what I'm loving from Dakota Davidson here is, yes, she's got the 4 behinds, hasn't registered a major, but not once has she dropped her head throughout this game so far. Just dusted off, straight into the action.
GPS would be telling a good story.
Yep.
Campbell against Morris Dalton, and it's out.
And it's easy to do that as a forward night. If you miss 1, miss 2, miss 3, yes, but 4 behinds for Davidson, but you can see there just still staying in the play, dictating, communicating to her teammates, telling them exactly where she wants them to be. You love to see that.
Frederick got it down to Howarth. Third kick of the quarter. Bounced over Morris Dalton against Campbell, who did the figure 8 through the legs. The tag was checked by Nell, who had to change hands with the handball. Howarth was being held while running after it by Postlethwaite. Deep entry for Collingwood, as deep as they've been in the quarter. Howarth against Dunn. Campbell, dribbling snap. Better result than a behind.
Brisbane just structurally so strong behind the footy in their defence. They're such a quality unit that work very well together, so they're just not giving the Pies any easy looks inside their forward 50.
Williamson got to the right spot to receive. We'll get it now. Was left initially at the stoppage by Brisbane. Works it to Can and Runnels, who kicks Collingwood second. Persistence pays off for the Pies, and Ellie Runnels has her second Victoria Park goal after one here a fortnight ago against the Tigers.
Well, the margin, can you believe it, is back to just 14 points with a major through early Runnels, sending through Collingwood's second for the afternoon. But it's the Pies doing all of the attacking early in the third term, 4-1 on the inside 50 count. So they're getting a number of repeat entries and allowing their forwards to compete.
Promising signs for Sam Wright's team. Hickey, the defensive side tap. Dawes sizzled clear of Slisher. Over the head of Hampson. White taken down after the hand pass. Headed for Rowe. Fizzing free is Hodder. Got away from Runnels. Sets the kick up for Davidson, who couldn't quite hang on to it. There's no way that Allen's getting free of Hodder.
Defended well there by Carlson on Dakota Davidson. It was a beautiful ball into the leading lane once again of Davidson, but spoiled through.
Hartle and Frederick. Head of Slisher. Hartle missed it. Dawes did it. Misses right. And the behinds are mounting for Brisbane.
3:11 now. Craig Starcevic told Kate at halftime that their focus was just on finishing their work in the second half, just making the most of their looks at goal.
Hickey. Dawes. Grider. Allinger. Handball option, but trouble coming for Mullins. Quickly got the kick free. Hyde. Taken out of it by Hodder to Anderson. Anderson now missing. Is there an opportunity in this for Brisbane when they do win it around 40, Abby, for one extra hand pass or the 15-metre kick to find a go closer to goal?
Definitely. They need to be a little bit more methodical with the way that they are building up their forward plays. So we've seen a lot of long launches, kicking and hoping at goal. But if they can just lower the vision like Conway did in that second term, hit targets about 25 to 35 out, it'll give them a really good shot.
Williamson and Howard with Collingwood's first two marks of the quarter, 7 minutes in. Rowe couldn't make it free, and as a result, the ball's back in Brisbane hands. Allinger, Ryder, gives it back. White has been one of the leading interceptors in the league this year. It's inboard for Butler, who had to take it on the bounce, and there has Davidson to deal with. Outside is Can. Meeting it on the bounce. It was the speedy Campbell. Lost the handle. Anderson scooped it to Hickey, who's had real involvement in the third. Hyde versus Ruby Spark, who turns her attention to Patterson and then has both of them to beat. Fight the bounce back from Ruby Spark after that awkward landing just adjacent to where she was taking the ground then in the first quarter. Anderson. Ruby Spark. Mullins, Conway. Another who's recovered from opening term incident. Kathy Spark, Hartle, Hodder. Will she try and speed free of Allen? No. Looks to go back to Conway and then tackle Can. Kathy Spark motors through. Well done by Hampson to somehow get the kick out, but it was a bump ball for Peters. Nonetheless, Hartle for her second. Brisbane cannot find the major opening.
They're making it hard for themselves, Nige. I mean, Hartle took a great chest mark on 50, played on for no apparent reason. I understand when you see Courtney Hodder running past you, it's romantic to give the handball, but just needed to show a little bit more composure, go back. Dakota Davidson had a 1v1 deep. Just need to show a little bit more composure in the way that they're building it up.
Hyde pulled up proppy from the kick that Frederick marked after dealing with Taylor Smith. Morris Dalton did get to the front. Knight, Morris Dalton, no fist on it. And Kate Massey, are there some issues for Collingwood?
Yeah, guys, Lucy Cronin is currently getting assessed by doctors on her knee. We'll have an official update soon.
Thanks, Kate. Slapped free by Frederick against Hartle. Conway taken to the deck again. Margin at 17 as we find ourselves halfway through the third. Hartle out the front of the stoppage, dragged down. Hodder missed it. Dooley, ground level to Conway, who's taken down by Taylor, but still got the handball out. Here comes Davidson. White, Williamson. Crafty from Frederick, another Collingwood player down. It's Kalinda Howarth, who's cradling her arm as Taylor Smith marks.
Here is Kalinda Howarth in a fair bit of pain still take another look at it. Unfortunately, we missed it there. Already down, but the trainers just made their way out now. But it's nothing too serious, no. She's had a lot of injury concerns throughout her career so far, so fingers crossed.
Plenty of taping on that right shoulder as it is, as Dakota Davidson walking to the bench in the middle of screen. Her partner in crime, Taylor Smith, meanwhile, finally gives Brisbane goal 4. And in doing so, becomes our first multiple goal kicker of the afternoon. He's got Brisbane's last couple of goals, kicking their third 4 minutes in to the second. Linda Howarth looks okay, and there was a bit of conversation going on between her and Charlie Mullins.
That's the injury there to Kalinda Howarth, and Dakota Davidson involved in that one as well, who we also saw come from the ground. So no doubt Kate will be all over that one. But love that goal sent through by Taylor Smith. They needed that, the 4 behinds prior in this third term. So able to take a mark, go back, show that composure and send that one through.
4 goals to 11, depending on how you want to look at it. Is the break for Brisbane. Rowe on the left, hand on it from Porter. Gets involved again. Didn't have possession as Hickey was tackling. Porter got back off her mark quickly enough. Kick wasn't to the advantage of Barnett. Dunn couldn't drag it down. Campbell, front spot but no control.
Campbell has been lively for the Pies in this third term as well, just showing a lot of run and dash and energy on the outside. Certainly what they needed to build on that first half.
Second most ground ball gets for Collingwood today with 5. Lucy Cronin's had 6 and has done her work at the other end, but at the moment finds herself off the ground with a knee concern. We'll get further update from Kate when one's available. Ryder, Dawes, Campbell. Knew the pressure was coming, so kicked high and wide. Ruby Spark gave up possession. Taylor, her first match of the campaign for Collingwood, gets past everybody, but not Campbell, who beat 4 Brisbane players and kicks a cracker. Oh, it's an effort-based business, and business is booming for Grace Campbell. A thirst for the contest like few others, and it's rewarded with a third-term strike.
Well, I was just singing the praises of Grace Campbell early in the third term here, and have a look at this gather. Just a bull at a gate, did not change pace, just so hungry for the footy and for the contest. 6 ground ball gets, 6 contested possessions so far, and a goal to go with it now.
Setting the tone for her teammates, young and old. And there's Lucy Cronin looking rather emotional on the bench. We'll get to Kate Massey for more information on that in a moment. You can see the ice on the left knee. Collingwood within 3 kicks. Barnett, Brisbane certainly haven't put them away. Campbell again, afforded some leg rope by Davison. Porter desperate against Allinger. Look at Campbell and the thirst for the contest. Kate, what can you tell us on Lucy Cronin?
Yeah, she's just come from down in the room. She's been ruled out for the rest of the game. As you saw, she has ice all on her knee, very emotional down here. The other update, Dakota Davison is good to go. She ran off with the physio, but she's coming back out.
Abby, we were speaking before about the growth for Collingwood this year under Sam Wright in his second season. 1 win last year, 3 this year. Lucy Cronin second in the best and fairest last year. What a hammer blow it would be if that is a long-term injury.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw the emotion on Lucy's face as she came back from the rooms as well. So another one where we'll have our fingers crossed that it's nothing too concerning with that left knee.
Ballinger was chopped off by Taylor. Ricochet ball. Runnels quickly to the evasive slasher outside of the boot, check side. Slapped forward by Dunn.
They're showing that extra thirst for the contest, though, in this third term of the Pies. Just that one, the fend from the skipper and Ruby Schleicher. We've spoken about Grace Campbell and the way that she's attacking the contest in their forward half as well.
Inside 50s, 8-6. Collingwood, who are winning the quarter. 2 straight to 1-4, holding the ruck. In fact, we're going to have the ball rethrown in, tricky for the boundary umpires, where the northerly breeze is its fiercest, the least protected part of Victoria Park. He took advantage of where that ball was tracking to get a fist on it. Take some metres. Hampson, Ryder, Henderson, Dwyer. Tracking back is Barnett. Kathy Spark was always going to make her earn it. White evasive. Barnett slow to get up for the Pies. Ryder chopped off marking attempt of Taylor. Pies out again. Morris Dalton launches deep. It's over the head of Campbell. She's got help from Knight. And that fist back into play for Porter, who goes on the right. And has got it. Love it. Doesn't the scoreline tell a story? It's 11 behinds the difference. And Collingwood are punishing Brisbane for their indiscretions earlier in the third.
Ruby Schleicher, their captain, has had some really big moments in this third term as well. So the Brisbane Lions were looking to exit, but it's coming straight back in as the Pies set up really well behind the play. But you'll see this here from their skipper, just the craft, stayed on the feet, made the right option. Electric handball out to the back, and Grace Campbell once again in the vicinity, but Porter good enough to swing it around on the right and snap it through.
Creative ground players getting involved for Collingwood. 3-1 in the term, and Hawthorn fans living in hope this Sunday afternoon that maybe, just maybe, they can stay in the top 3 and avoid a date with the undefeated North Melbourne in the qualifying final. Dawes overcooked the kick. Stopped in her tracks though was Clark. Excellent play in the circumstances by Smith to get a hand in. Georgia Clark back into the team after recent concussion issues. Rowe, if the ground had 12 in the opening quarter. Slasher missed it. Allowed O'Dwyer in. The kick was touched off the boot. White bites it back. Allinger, under the circumstances, that's a brilliant mark.
And the Brisbane Lions will just be looking to take some of the sting out of this contest here, try and implement that kick mark game, the uncontested style that they do so well, because at the moment it's Collingwood that want the game with speed on it.
Postleway. Taylor finds the intercept. Decides to keep play on the outer side of Victoria Park. Morris Dalton had numerous lines to deal with. Ryder casually to Hickey. Dwyer towing the line. Back of the flight. The mark's taken by Ruby Spark, who wants some calm and connection in the Lions' front half. But instead, ball is back into a contest. Dawes, Davison, Kathy Spark flew. Carlson can't cough it up. It got through the legs of Conway, but not Hampson. Steps inboard, gets around Clark. Kick on the left, hit a pie first.
It's great work by Hampson there, just backing herself in. Faking right, going left. Just couldn't send that one through.
2 behinds for Ellie Hampson. playing her first game since round 5. Clark for Collingwood. Can from the front, Barnett the back. Postleway now on the other side of the ground. Got it to Conway, who beat 2 and puts the hand into the chest of the Collingwood captain. Locates Allinger. There's space for the Lions to Jade's left. Smith. O'Dwyer has the opportunity and a clear path to goal. And for a brief moment there, you wondered if Taylor Smith might have been able to take that mark on the second bite. Alder O'Dwyer sweeps through, and the decision to take it was more than vindicated in the end. And in all likelihood, it's going to be a 3-goal margin again at 3/4 time.
Well, it was a great build-up by the Lions. We spoke about them looking to, I guess, bring out that little bit of calm back in with the kick mark game. Taylor Smith not able to clunk that mark, but O'Dwyer coming through, sends that one through on the left, and safe to say the Lions needed that one. 5 goals, 14 here at Vic Park this afternoon.
There's a lot of O's in there. I'm with you.
Orla O'Dwyer, there we go.
There's the ladder situation. Hickey, 2-5 to 3 straight in the quarter. Can Brisbane find another lay? Allen was held by Kathy Spark, and the umpire was on the scene to see it and see off the danger despite the boos from those of Fitzroy or Brisbane origins. 3/4 time at Victoria Park. Excellent term from Collingwood, but from a Brisbane perspective, no mortal damage done. They protect their halftime margin of 19 and lead by 18 at the final change. Game 1 of a monumental Sunday to close out the AFLW home and away season. Following this match, can St Kilda at their spiritual home, RSEA Park, secure a home final? They get set to host the Dogs after this.
All right, folks, there we go. 3/4 time. The Magpies made a little bit of a comeback then, but of course, Brisbane Lions getting that late goal. It's 5:14:44. The Brisbane Lions, the Magpies, 4-2-26, kicking a little bit straighter. But Brisbane dominating on the scoreboard, 19 scoring shots to 6. Collingwood, however, did win that third term by just a solitary behind. 3 straight goals the Magpies put in on that third term, whereas the Brisbane Lions kicking wayward again. 2 goals 5. They've got to get that. Hey, cheer, what's happening? Shelty. Ayo. Welcome in. Hey, we're at the footy. And of course, that is 3/4 time here, folks. We've got 1 quarter to go. Of course, the Brisbane Lions, well, they're looking like they're going to go on to victory here and escape playing North Melbourne in the first week of the finals next week, which I think all their supporters will be happy. Not so much for Hawthorn, because I think Hawthorn will end up having to play North Melbourne next week in the finals. There we go. Let's just have a look at the goal scorers. There's a few more that got put on in that third term. Taylor Smith, the only multiple out there for Brisbane. She's kicked 2 goals, 1. Ruby Spark, just a single there for Brisbane with O'Dwyer and Hartle. And of course for the Maggies, Runnels and Porter with Frederick and Campbell are the single goal scorers there for the Magpies. Let's just have a look at the disposal magnets, see where they're climbing now. And of course, the top 3 all coming from Brisbane now after that third term. Alexandra Anderson tops the table with 19 disposals. Pretty good effort in the heat today, 11 and 8. 4 clearances, doing well. Mullins on 18. Talia Hickle, 18 possessions. She's doing well. The ruck woman there for the Brisbane Lions, 6 kicks, 12 handballs, 3 marks, 1 tackle, 13 hit-outs, 4 clearances. She's doing it all out there in this heat today, out there at about 29, 30 degrees out there. She's pretty warm. Playing footy out there in these conditions, that is absolutely for sure and certain. Sarah Rowe next best for the Maggies on 17. Michaela Khan 14. Butler on 14 also. Sophie Conway doing well also for the Brisbane Lions on 17 as well. We just roll down a little bit. Tania White on 12 with Runnels for the Magpies on 12 as well. Cronin also on 12 there. Let's just roll on down. So a few more players there getting into double figures on their possession count out there today. Of course, we've got a quarter of football remaining. There's about 20 minutes of action left in this game. All right, Charlotte Taylor on 8. Taylor Smith there for the Brisbane Lions there. She's had 8 touches, 5 kicks, 2 goals, 1 she's kicked, so not a bad effort just from her 5 kicks there for Taylor Smith there for the Brisbane Lions. Dakota Davison, though, I tell you what, she continues to miss those goals. She's got 4 behinds. I'm sure she'll do a good celebration when she can finally slot a major. 6 kicks, 4 behinds there for Dakota Davison, playing pretty good football. That is for sure and certain she is, as she always does. Shannon Campbell there on 5. Let's just have a quick look at the team stats, and we see this. They're drawing away a little bit. They're now plus 39 disposal count. Is the Brisbane Lions, of course, inside 50s. Magpies come back reasonably well in that third term, about 9 inside forward 50 to the Maggies. So it's 32-20. Lions still the more dominant side there. Free kicks, well, they're slowly squaring them up. It's 13-8. It's only plus 5 there now to Brisbane. So I want to have a look at the clearances. There we go, 19-10. Centre clearances 9-3. Magpies finally getting 3 clearances out of the centre in that third term, which was great to see, as they had 0 up until half time. All right, let's pop on back down to the ground. We'll head down for the final action, the final quarter of the home and away season for both of these teams, Collingwood and the Brisbane Lions. All right, let's head back down to the action. Whereas the Lions by 18 points.
Side 50s, but couldn't have been more different. The Pies clinical with 3 straight, Brisbane 2-5.
Once again, it's just that conversion piece for the Lions that lets them down. So heading into a finals campaign, they've got a quarter to go here. Yes, they're on top on the scoreboard, but they need to make it count. In saying that as well, clearance count for the Pies in that third term, Nige, they were able to level it out at 8 apiece. So they'll be looking to finish their season strong in this fourth term against the Lions.
Kate Massey, there's been injury issues for both teams.
There has been. Dakota Davidson has been cleared, though, to get back out there. The thing now is the heat. It's 31 degrees down here. The pickle juice has been out. Michaela Hyde just having some work done on her calves. But I think, the heat will play a factor in this final quarter.
Thanks, Kate. It is one of the fascinating elements of where our season's currently positioned, and the vagaries of what the weather, especially in Melbourne, can do in the next month. But probably up and down the eastern seaboard, we could get all manner of storms, colder days, hot days.
Well, we saw the delay yesterday in Coffs Harbour as well, delayed half an hour. So it's very unpredictable this time of year.
Weather's going to be a factor in the finals, without a doubt. We'll start the last quarter of Collingwood season and Brisbane's hunt to more postseason footy. Dawes was eventually the one who was clean and up to the task. Heads for Smith, who's got 2 out of her hands. Allen wasn't, though. So a left knee injury for Lucy Cronin. Issue for Collingwood generally, but especially in defence. Taylor Smith already with 2 goals. A little bit beyond her range to fully launch. Sets it up, hotter. Fist down O'Dwyer. Fend off of Williamson. I cleared it. Coming to meet it, Porter, one of Collingwood's goal kickers in the third. Dribbled past Hickey, but not Dawes, who gives it back to Brisbane's ruck. Drew the Pies players to allow Ellinger into clear space, but a divot was the result. Runnels, hand pass and Shepherd for Allen. Howarth couldn't mark. Ball still in a precarious spot for the Pies. Hampson, though, gave it straight to Can, who sent it into the middle. Campbell, in game 100, is set up again in clear space to try and punish by foot. What a mark from Hodder.
I love that Courtney Hodder plays tall and plays small in stature, as we know, but only minutes ago she plays on to Conway. Only moments ago was crashing a pack from behind, which is traditionally a key position player's job. We've seen her take mark of the year in previous seasons. Just plays tall, plays small, can do it all in that forward half for the Lions.
And there was a big strip of land left for Sophie Conway to eventually be the one to lead into it. Kicked it behind in the second quarter to this end of the ground. Dawes was chiming in for an option, might have even put her off at the end. Spark and Davidson were both somewhere on the scene, but neither could mark.
Talia Hickey, just been awesome for the Lions. Equal leading disposal winner on the ground with Anderson. 12 of those contested possessions, 19 disposals. So good in the air, as we've seen, but equally as damaging at ground level.
Frederick with the flight of the throw-in better. Pummeled it out and went off the ground with a good slice. Push though, Postlewaite. Campbell to deal with, and that's a sizable issue. Grace Campbell has been the tone setter for Collingwood in the second half. Hickey, Sticky. Just shape that kick to try and get it behind Road. A little bit of confusion initially, Potter and O'Dwyer. Courtney with it. Dawes the connector again to Mullins, who had O'Dwyer to her left, but inboard. There's numerous numbers. Anderson got it to O'Dwyer. Walter O'Dwyer, who was the one to finally settle things with a Brisbane goal at the 21-minute mark of the third. Try and join Taylor Smith with a pair. To be 5:15.
I love the kick from Anderson, though. Just rewarded the run of Orla O'Dwyer on the outside. Could see her in the peripheral vision. She was coming down the wing.
Runnels. Back to White. Launching was Morris Dalton. Fleet of foot was Dawes to Conway. Get to this eventually. Kick around high. It was always going to be hard low down for Mullins, not for Hodder. Hyde sees it to the line.
It's a perfect example of how the Brisbane Lions just utilise the space of the ground. They hold their width beautifully. Their wings, Conway, O'Dwyer, they never collapse into the contest. Such a strong structure around the ground.
Second most behinds the Lions have kicked in a game this season. They peeled off 11-17 in the Q Clash rout against the Suns. Dawes, Anderson, across the 50, O'Dwyer. Initially the jumper was being held. Smith can't get back to it, but it might bounce to her. Instead it's popped off the fist of Frederick to Hyde, who keeps looking in the rearview mirror and seeing Hodder. Got it off to Spark.
And on the full here as well. So, we're heading into a finals campaign, season 10 next week for the Brisbane Lions, but this is becoming a real area of concern, is that conversion and efficiency piece. Against the best sides in the competition, they're going to make you pay, so the Lions have a little bit of work to do over the next 7 days.
Campbell marks, Porter was initially in the protected zone and Campbell was at pains to point it out, but no infringement. Campbell's kick dragged by the breeze. Tani White surely be high up in Collingwood's AFLW best and fairest. It's been a brilliant year.
And in saying that, Nige, as well, sorry, just back on that point, if you're Craig Starcevich, you're happy that you're getting the looks, right? You've had 20 score opportunities, but they just need to, it's just that composure piece inside 50.
They were 1-7 at halftime last week against Melbourne and then got things right with 4 straight in the third. 3-9 at halftime in the win over Essendon at Windy Hill 2 weeks ago. There's the way the ladder sits. That in all likelihood is where you can lock the top 4 in right now. North to host the Hawks. They meet again in the space of 7 or 8 days. In the space of 2 weeks, it'll be Melbourne and Brisbane in the other qualifying final. The only difference, instead of being at Springfield, we'll find ourselves somewhere in Greater Melbourne next weekend, and the setup of the bottom half of the 8 is in flux for the next 4 hours. We've got St Kilda hosting the Bulldogs after this at RSEO Park. The Saints win, they will host an elimination final, and then a play-in game. A lot of talk about those in our code. Well, we get a virtual one with Adelaide and Fremantle to go at it later on this afternoon. Back at Abbotsford, Anderson clears it. Davidson still looking for the major in her 75th. Dwyer has a fellow Irish woman to argue with for the free kick. Not taken by Greider. Frustrated as she ran after Barnett. Morris Dalton, handball with a bit too much sauce on it for Howarth. Dunn to Anderson. Has been more and more involved as this game's got on. Spark. Able to break free of Allen and Frederick.
Collingwood just unable to get the ball inside their forward half so far in this term. 8 inside 50s for the Lions. But just the one behind though, so they are defending well at the same time.
Anderson with a game high 24, Dawes 22, O'Dwyer and Hickey 20 apiece for Brisbane. Sarah Rowe, who was phenomenal in the first 15 minutes, 12 possessions to quarter time, most of those coming in the opening 10 minutes. Is Collingwood's leading ball getter on the day with 17, 310 metres gained to go with it. Barnett takes some yardage. Hyde, not you again. Potter skips past her and skips away. Grasping air. Time enough for Brisbane to set things up. Peters. Wide, and it bounces back to Hodder, to Anderson. Good work. Last line defence from Carlson was desperate to get the fist in on Hartle.
Really well defended by Carlson, but Courtney Hodder, such a live wire in attack for the Lions. Always stays in the play.
So 20 points the margin. 7.5 minutes to play, 9.5 gone in the last quarter of Collingwood's season. The second under Sam Wright. Barnett grabs it. It's for Clark. Instead it's Campbell. One-on-one, inside 50. Campbell against Frederick, former teammates. Clearing is Campbell, but it'll be coming back via the lasso. Brisbane's first AFLW goal kicker. Margin of 20, maybe not quite there yet, but you'd hope in the next couple of minutes when the game's safe enough, she may be released forward to try and kick one in a century game.
Well, we know that she can do some damage inside the forward half as well.
Place in the history books as well through being best on ground in a losing grand final in season 7. Williamson. Taylor. That touches in her first and only game of 2025, her first match at AFLW level for 13 months. Springing through the contest was Slisher. Here's Taylor again. Quick to extricate something. Hickey, the fist as good as a kick. Clark missed the high target, and instead it's Dooley who shapes the ball into the front half of Brisbane. Closest to it is Hartle. After Butler, got her prey, forced the kick to Brisbane numbers. Mullins now to Hartle. Fist in from Clark. Butler against Mullins. Mullins toes it along the grass. Peters. Rowe met her. Ryder was the option coming through, but Campbell again just wants the contest. The fend off on Ruby Spark, but it's still in the danger zone. And with the danger player, Hodder. Outside of the boot is the latest, and the Brisbane score sheet needs 4 columns today.
We need to have another look at this. Grace Campbell just said it, just the hunger, the thirst for the contest. It's a real live wire for the Pies, particularly in this second half.
I just don't think I'd want to be the patient talking back to that nurse. Slusher. Runnels. To Rowe. Howarth. Option over the top and finds in Porter, who's got some wheels. Ran her full term. Campbell appealing. Needed to be tackling. Instead, Knight. Her first in AFLW. Georgia Knight, she botched one, to be frank, a fortnight ago against Richmond at the other end of the grounds. A relief, a moment, an injection of energy in the final 5 minutes of the season, and it all started because of the efforts of their senior leadership in the forward line in Grace Campbell. And just when you thought Sally's had reached a ceiling, Georgia Knight and Clinda Howard find a way.
Best passage of the play of the day for the Pies. Clinda Howarth just got the ball forward no matter what it looked like. Took grass there, had it bounce, and then this quick release handball by Frederick. And Georgia Knight kicks her first goal, and didn't she absolutely love it? Every single Collingwood player on the ground got around her.
Including Clinda Howarth. We'll try and show you the vision again in a moment, but a celebration that looked
To
like
behold.
a Year 10 drama teacher would be proud of. Free kick Pies. Margin 14. Still time for Collingwood. Not if Ryder can do anything about it. Easy, obvious, short option. Hampson. Bounce. Handball. Thought about the 1-2 with Smith, who instead was towards Anderson, who wanted the front on contact against Patterson instead. Played the ball on its merits, puts it inside 50, Ruby Spark. In for Mullins, entangled with White. White eventually got it. Collingwood reload again from the back. Hyde. And there is definitely fatigue. Kicking in. Collinger wide ball. O'Dwyer doesn't know the meaning of weary. Gave it to Mullins. Hit up for Davidson, who deserves one for a hard-working game in her 75th.
You can see the fatigue, as you said. Porter just looked as though she was treading water, not moving forward. But this is where the fitness and the work rate of the Brisbane Lions always comes to fruition. So Orla O'Dwyer, the handball, and then the delivery, of course, to Dakota Davidson, who, as you said, Nige, really deserves a major year.
Dual premiership Lion gets a well-earned major in her milestone. Praise be to the footy gods, who aren't normally this late on a Sunday. Maybe it's the time difference with Queensland, but they've turned up at Victoria Park. And Dakota Davidson, 1 for 9 possessions and 4 marks. It's been a hard-earned thirst that's finally quenched.
Once again, Dakota Davidson doing what she does best, is leading up, taking quality marks. And you can see the relief there in the face. The 4 behinds before that moment made the umpire work, Nige. He went hard left, but just managed to sneak that one through.
And a little look skyward after that celebration, Abs, that wasn't to check out the UV race. It was all relief. Mark Dooley. Can't wait to see her in her first AFLW finals. To Peters. Can't stay in for Ruby Spark. And they got some depth heading to the quest for another deep finals run. Greg Starcevich and the coaching staff elected to omit Poppy Bolts and Claudia Wright. And Crozier was the other of the emergencies, so likely to get Bree Conan back. He was right on the brink of a return from injury this week, so Brisbane will be ready and armed and dangerous ahead of the match against Melbourne to come next weekend. Campbell, what a splendid game it's been. Measured in might more than stats. Can out to row. Won't get the full celebration in her 75th, but nonetheless there'll be a tip of the cap, as there was during the week by Collingwood and the wider league, for her contribution. Can inside 50 to Howarth. He wants some options back for her to come back. There's space there. Knight is the lead, but the kick was not up to scratch. Howarth went after it. Campbell got a hand towards Mullins. Smith has kicked a couple. Might have been one of those players they put on ice. Smother, Spark. Kicks it 40 along the ground to 40 out from goal. And look at the fight from Ruby Spark. Effort after effort. Dooley gets it out to Hodder. To Hampson. From the arc. And it would have been the most Brisbane goal you've seen all day. But it's probably the play that sums up Brisbane's day the most, Abby, is effort exemplary, finishing not up to standard.
Absolutely, you can never fault the effort of the Brisbane Lions. They're a side that you know is just going to run for 4 quarters. But 6 goals 16 at Vic Park this afternoon. We've said it a number of times. That's an area that is definitely going to be a key focus for them across the final series.
For all of it, it'll be, you'd think, quickly put in the recycling, because the aim is taking your best to play Melbourne next week, as they did last week. I think Craig Starcevich and his coaching staff will be happy that they're playing well, but there's clear improvement in their game too. Anderson 26, Mullins 25, Dawes 23, O'Dwyer 21, Hickey 20 for Brisbane. Runnels and Rowe both with 20 for the Pies. Kayla Can set to complete another great season. She'll turn 25 next Tuesday and exit this year with 76 games under her belt. Davidson's 76th is coming in a final. Brisbane secure 3rd position on the AFLW ladder. They'll play their 3rd straight road qualifying final, and they're 1 win away from a 4th straight home prelim. Siren aggression, more on that in a moment. The job done for the Brisbane Lions. They came here with a sole aim of victory to grab 3rd place on the AFLW ladder, and it's mission accomplished.
7 straight wins for the Brisbane Lions as well now, which is an unbelievable effort for them. As I said, they started 2 and 3, looked a little dicey.
Let's have a look at what happened in the seconds either side of the final siren, Abby. Allen takes out Ruby Spark, and then Brisbane players come in to protest and protect. Dakota Davidson right up in the grill of Geordie Allen, and then the Collingwood players coming in. Ruby Slasher pointing to the change rooms and maybe the airport for Dakota Davidson.
You love to see that though, don't you know? Tier 1 big team, you protect one another. That's all that was happening there.
Beldawes, excellent again with 23 possessions for Brisbane, is with Kate.
Bell, 7 wins in a row, finals bound again, in perfect conditions, mind you. How does it feel?
Yeah, perfect conditions. It's storming in Brisbane, hot day today, but really good home and away season. Didn't start the way we wanted, but felt like we just finished the way we wanted and put together a few good games.
What sort of belief does this group have? Obviously, you've played finals many times before, but heading into another campaign, we know North Melbourne, they're up there, but you guys look like you're the ones to get it done.
Yeah, 100%. The belief in this group has just been built. You know, I feel like have a lot of belief from other people, and people always write us off, and I think we feed off that. And over the last few weeks, the belief's strong.
Your game, once again, strong, 23 disposals from you. What is it that keeps you motivated and keeps you going? Every week you're there, you're the strongest, and you've always got a smile on your face.
I'm going to say the love of the game, love of the girls, love this club, and I honestly love winning. So it's got to be that just gets you up and about, and yeah, I love it.
Hey, what happened on the final siren then?
Oh, just a little bit of push and shove. I think we all love that, and then it's funny because afterwards you're like, oh, good game, great season, good luck for finals. So I think it's fun of the game. We all get so competitive, and Collingwood did that. We had a good arm wrestle, so yeah, just a bit push and shovey.
Oh, good luck for finals. We'll see you back here next week.
Awesome, thanks, Kate. Go Lions.
We do have a second interview here, another Irish superstar. Tell us, 7 wins in a row, very special playing finals again.
Yeah, definitely. I think we had a rocky start at the start of this season, but always knew this group. We had such core belief, and I think what really makes a difference is we played together for so long, so we knew it'd come right. But I think you learn so much from them losses, and obviously with the wins too, you learn. But we're in such a good position now, and delighted to be back playing finals.
Hey, you're good mates with Sarah Roche. You played 75 games here today. You're up on her. You've played 79, but how special was it to watch the milestone?
Yeah, super special. I think it's a credit to all the Irish players out here, and to hit 75 is such a big milestone, which we don't celebrate back home. So it's pretty special, and Sarah with the one club as well has been amazing. So yeah.
How special is your journey as well? Coming over from Ireland, you're playing here 79 games for Brisbane. It's pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually fun to reminisce back on because it all goes so quickly. I can't believe I've been here for over 6 years. But the club make is super special, and it's a great bunch of girls and staff too. So it makes my job easy. So I love it.
What sort of impact does Craig Starsvich have on this group?
Such a huge impact. We always tease and say he's like our dad, which he is, and he's a big softie at the end of the day. But such good respect for Craig, and he really knows how to drive us as a group.
All right, we'll let you go. Enjoy that huddle. Thank you for your time.
Thanks to Uluru Dwyer and Isabel Dawes, and that doesn't look all that happy. Win aside, method, process, the areas of improvement ahead of a qualifying final next week against Melbourne, North to play Hawthorn, so the qualifying finals are confirmed.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, Nige? Because those four sides have had a really good look at each other recently as well. Hawthorn, of course, on Friday night with North, and the Lions take on the D's again.
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. It was the Brisbane Lions. Too strong today for the mighty Magpies. 6-16-52. The Brisbane Lions 5-2-32. The Magpies. The Brisbane Lions getting the job done by 20 points this afternoon, kicking 1 goal, 2 in the final term. The Magpies just a straight goal. Of course, now Brisbane Lions next week goes into the finals. They'll be playing the first week of the finals against Melbourne. Should be a fantastic game next week, folks. We'll certainly try to cover all the games next week of the finals throughout the AFLW Finals Series. Should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game. But I tell you what, if your team won today, congratulations. You go on to the finals. For Collingwood, however, let's pack your bags, put your feet up. It's vacation time. It's the end of the season for you. After another long season for them, of course, the AFLW has just 12 rounds in the home and away season. Then we're in the finals action. That's where we are next week. Don't forget, we're going to cover the next game coming up in just a couple of hours' time, and that'll be Adelaide taking on Fremantle. Of course, Adelaide, one of the strong contenders in this year's premiership race to the Cup. There we go. So it should be a fantastic game, that one coming up. Also, there is another game coming up next. I'm not sure whether I'll be back to cover that. Of course, that's St Kilda and Western Bulldogs. If I'm back in time, I'll get that done. That starts in about 7 minutes' time. There we go. And, of course, the Adelaide Fremantle starts in a couple of hours' time. So hopefully we'll be back to cover that game for everyone out there. Should be really, really fascinating. Just looking at the ladder where it was, of course, let me see if that's loaded up to live ladder. That's the live ladder. Of course, Brisbane ended up on third at the end of the home and away season, so they will play Melbourne in the first week of the finals. The Kangaroos will play Hawthorn in that first week of the finals, so it's going to be pretty tough for the Hawks. But it's going to be good news for Brisbane winning today. They got the job done. They did exactly what they needed to do. And, of course, St Kilda, they're next. I think even if St Kilda win, I think they'll probably stay 6 because they won't pick up the percentage of that big gap between them and Carlton. Of course, Adelaide, it all comes down to who they're going to play too, because they're playing the last game. I'll tell you what, Adelaide need to pretty much win. They're only 2.2% above Sydney, who are sitting 9th in that game. So if Adelaide happen to lose by maybe 25 points or so, Sydney Swans might creep in, Adelaide might go out. So that's going to be absolutely fascinating game. But that is today's game, folks. That's Collingwood taking on Brisbane, where Brisbane was too strong down here at Victoria Park on a hot spring day, about 30 degrees. It was pretty hot conditions for all to play, and even the supporters out there watching. But another fantastic game. The season ending for Collingwood, but continues, of course, for the Brisbane Lions. As I said, they'll be playing Melbourne in the first week of the finals next week, which should be some great games in the finals coming up your way. As I said, we've still got 2 games left of the home and away season for the AFLW for 2025 before we head on into the finals next week. All right, folks, hey, thanks all for coming in. We did have the poll there. 75% did go for Brisbane in today's game. Well done, everyone in the chat, in the live chat who voted for Brisbane. You got that one right today. But this is where I'll leave this game off, folks. Thanks, everyone, for coming on in, who was in the live chat listening to the live broadcast. And thanks to everyone out there who's listening to the replay of this game today. Always appreciate your attendance and visiting the channel. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, and comment. Always appreciate the likes and the shares and the comments. If you want to say something about your team, your football team, and just chuck it down in the comments. And we're always appreciated and try and respond to all those where possible. All right, folks, that's me over and out. Thanks very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday on this beautiful spring day. All right, folks, until next time, till the next game, ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.